Hello, my name is Simon and welcome to the Retro News Roundup. To start this episode, Gamescom was held in Germany last month, and I was there. But more on that later. The most interesting retro news from the event was from Night Dive Studios, who revealed it's working on remasters of both Turok 3 Shadow of Oblivion and Star Wars Dark Forces. The former will arrive on November the 13th, and the latter will likely land next year. Let's start this section with the Switch, with its online service receiving 3 new games to play. There was the Game Boy Color's Pokemon Trading Card game, and then 2 N64 games, Pokemon Stadium 2 and Excitebike 64. And if you want to know a full history of the Excitebike series, yeah, I know you really do, then you're in luck. I made a full video on it 8 years ago? Damn, I'm old. Anyway, that'll be linked to at the end of this episode. Nintendo's system also received the Taito Milestones 2 compilation. Moving on, there were 5 Arcade Archive titles released for the Switch and PS4. Barajuke 2, Mad Shark, Dark Adventure, Bosconian, and Kadash. Then PS4 and PS5 players got a few PSP game ports, including Medieval Resurrection and Ape Escape P. My pop filter really got to work out with that sentence. Next, a couple of multi-format releases, the first being The Making of Karateka, an interactive documentary experience about the classic title released for the PC, PlayStation, Xbox and Switch. Second was a rather impressive port of Quake 2 for the Switch, PS4, PS5, PC and Xbox One. And finally for this segment, there were 2 new carts released for the Evercade, the Sydney Hunter Collection and Pico Interactive Arcade. Talking of the Evercade, while at Gamescom last month, I was lucky enough to try out the Super Pocket systems, both the Capcom and Taito editions. Here's a picture, but I did record some footage of Full Void, an excellent indie offering as well. Despite the lower end price tag, I was impressed at how sturdy the Super Pockets felt, and the selection of games built in are sensible with some welcome curveballs thrown in. I hope to have the units to review in October when they're released. And in non-Gamescom news, the Dreamcast StrikerDC wireless controller is now available to pre-order. They feature no drift hall effect sensors and wireless rumble. It's released in November and will cost $50 US. The Amiga did well on the Homebrew front last month with 4 new games: Ooze the Escape, Karate Champ, Holiday, and Boxx 3 Remake. The Commodore 64 in comparison got a pair of titles, Lunar City and a port of Bill and Ted's excellent Game Boy Adventure. Meanwhile, the ZX Spectrum got a trio of games, Mickey and Donald Game & Watch, Bomberbot and Banger Management. Then to round off things, ADoom blasted onto the Atari XL XE, Rodolfo Skylarriente the Archaeologist dug its way onto the Amstrad CPC, Stunt Car Racer drove towards the Commodore Plus 4, Pleiades 3D spread itself onto the Commodore Amiga 1200, Space Zot jetted towards the Atari ST, Polymer Picker was harvested on the BBC Micro, Gold Mine Run was discovered on MSS-DOS, and finally Gunslugs dragged itself onto the Mega Drive. Quite a bit for this section, with the unreleased Thalamar Land of Chaos for the Amiga being made available to download online. The same goes for Laser World on the same console. So Christmas truly has come early for Amiga fans this month. Next, Nintendo collector Cake discovered a lost prototype for an unreleased game developed by Santa Cruz Games for the GameCube called Pickle. Check out the entire story via this video's description. It's fascinating. Genuinely. And finally, not a game, but the Sonic statue from Sega World London, over 20 years old, was found and restored. It was being shown at Gamescom, but annoyingly I didn't get any pics of myself with it. Sorry. 2 English language translations were completed last month. One for Yu-Gi-Oh! Monster Capsule GB on the Game Boy Color, and the second for Chrono Trigger on the SNES. The latter has been written so it's closer to the original Japanese text, with mixed results. That's all for this episode, but thanks so much for watching. Your support is massively appreciated. Last month's episode saw over 140 likes, which honestly blew my mind. So, in any case, please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and make sure you stay safe. Bye for now.
What did you say?